there's a very big difference between being a good candidate for the job and being good at applying.
You need to set yourself apart or stand out in the application process because they genuinely get like 10,000s of applicants.
How to get them to like you and want to vouch for you is a skill which can be learned.
A lot of people ask me about my visa situation. Hello.
Hi guys!
Oh my god, that hello was bad.
I'm Sakshi.
I'm Tia.
There are so many things looking back I wish I knew. Like an international student perspective on visas, on getting jobs in the UK. I wish I had someone telling me this. Do you want to go first?
Let's do our top tips because there's obviously a lot.
Yeah.
But we try to cover as much as we can. One thing that I learned, which I think I did wrong, or not wrong, but something that I felt like I could have done better, is I focused a lot on the quantity of applications that I was sending. I was every day I need to send out 10. That's how I'll spread my risks, which is fair. But in the midst of all of that, I was just not focusing on the quality of my application. I was just sending the same CV without even tailoring it to the role. Which sometimes the information that you give on your CV for a role is not even relevant to that role, and I wasn't
100%.
editing it.
I think that's a really good point because I feel like it is a numbers game. At one point you need to keep sending applications in because you never know what will hit or what will work.
Yeah.
But also it doesn't make sense sending the same CV and cover letter to every job. In most jobs, the first round your CV is screened by AI, and
Yeah, that's what it said.
if you have certain words which fit the job description or which align with the company, that's when you'll pass that stage. So one CV which will work for company A is not going to work for company B.
Yeah.
You have to, I think that's a mistake even I made in the beginning where I just sent the same CV in.
CV, no, you
But
don't need to.
that doesn't work. You should be tailoring your CV.
And even your cover letter.
And also one CV which can work for one role in one company is not going to work for another role in the same company.
What you could do is to make sure that your CV is strong enough for an application that you're really interested in.
Yeah.
You have a career counselor. I think most colleges have a career counselor.
Use those services.
Use them. Exploit them. You're paying for the college. They're there for a reason. And they're always happy to help. At least in my university, they helped me a lot.
For me, I found that going to YouTube and seeing different CV formats reviewed or what CVs have worked for people, what experiences to add really helped me. So you can do your research. There's so many resources out there on the internet or on
use
YouTube.
your resources.
Yeah, and also I feel what you said makes so much sense because what I realized down the line was that there's a very big difference between being a good candidate for the job and being good at applying.
Yeah.
So for example, person A can have a great CV, a really good summer internship, a great spring internship, but for example is not the best at talking in interviews.
Yeah.
While person B can have no prior experience or can have experience in a different industry but know how to tailor that to the job role. I think talking in interviews, knowing how to network is a much bigger skill and is a skill that plays a much bigger role. For example, I remember once I was talking to someone and they said, sometimes the interviewer is not even looking for the amount of technical knowledge you have.
I think they're also prepared if you're fresh out of university. They know you don't come in with a lot of experience. Your experience lies in university.
I think more so what they're looking for is confidence. Can you build a relationship with them? Can you give off a good enough vibe where they enjoy having that conversation with you? How to get them to like you and want to vouch for you is a skill which can be learned and is something which you really should focus on.
100% I agree to that because literally yesterday I saw a post on LinkedIn where this recruiter said that I rejected this one applicant 2 or 3 times and then the 4th time this person applied again and I was like, okay, let me give this person an interview, and right after the first round interview they hired him or her because because they were that person's CV was not up to the mark, but when I decided to give them an interview benefit of the doubt, they were so fit for the job, they gave them the job on the spot.
Literally, sometimes it's skills communication, the energy you bring to an interview, how you connect with them, the effort you take in getting to know them, asking them questions, getting to know about them, makes such a big difference.
Communication is a very important one.
100%.
I remember Nissa was telling me the other day, she works in a big fashion brand, and someone had come in to interview, and the recruiter who was interviewing that applicant came out after the interview and literally told the whole team that I wanted to shake that applicant up.
Why? Oh,
Because
they
the
were just
energy was so
turned
like
up.
down, like so formal and like, yeah, like okay, like no.
Yeah,
Like
we're
they
not-
want a bit of like
fun,
your passion.
energy,
If you're
passion.
saying you're passionate about this role, it should radiate. Like your
Yeah.
face, like your expressions will say something else, and like what you're saying will say. It's like you've rutted it, then you've come and like just
Yeah.
done that. Going back to your point about like connections, that's also like one of my biggest tips, because as I
That's
said,
what got you your job.
that's what got me my job. Whenever I'm bored, like I'm on LinkedIn, because I love seeing like what's happening around, like
What
what's
people are doing. I'm
what
so nosy.
yeah, I'm like, what is this person doing? Or like, it's always like great to know, and also like you
Yeah.
find such amazing, inspiring people on there, like who post such great stuff which you can like incorporate in your life as well. The first thing I'd done was actually create a very professional LinkedIn profile, so that people think I'm worth connecting back with. And then I wanted to, because I obviously wanted to tap into the beauty industry, I made my bio like on LinkedIn as well, like very specific to what I'm
What kind of
trying
goals
to
you're looking
achieve.
for.
Yeah, like in my career goals. And then I started connecting with people, and obviously when they see my bio and they see my profile, they know exactly like why I'm trying to connect with them.
And also, it's like they'd want to know what you're doing a few years down the line as well, if you're on the same path as them.
Yeah,
So,
it's transactional, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's not only you are learning from them, they are learning something
few years
from
down
you
the
as well.
line, you never know when they might want something from you.
Exactly. I don't think I'd get my job if I hadn't made those connections within the company.
Yeah.
At least in beauty, because it's such a competitive industry, you need to set yourself apart or stand out in the application process, because they genuinely get like 10,000s of applicants and they can't go through it every single time. So what you said about AI, it's very hard to get a recruiter to look at your CV. So you need to like go beyond just sending your application, which is
Yeah.
why I did this. Reach out to them, ask them if they're ready for like a 5-minute chat where you want to get to know them and the company better.
Can I add something? Also, don't just message someone on LinkedIn like, "Hi, I'm this person from this uni and I'm applying for this role at your company. Could you please refer me?"
Oh, never.
Please don't.
But so many people message me as well saying, can you refer me? But you know what? Like, I don't know you, so why would I?
Why would I? Like, maybe first ask, like, okay, I have some questions, I want to know more about the role. You speak to someone, like, build like a good rapport with them, and if you think that they like you and you like them, be like, okay, if you're comfortable,
Yeah.
once you take a look at my CV, would you mind referring me? But only if you're comfortable with it.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
much better way to approach it.
I think, and also like if you get on call with someone, genuinely like don't speak like you have a script ready.
Yeah.
Talk with passion, which is very important. Like talk with passion and talk like just relax. Like have a conversation. It doesn't have to be very like cut to cut, formal, like scripted,
Yeah.
because they can tell. Like they can
Yeah.
even in interviews they can tell, because personally.
100%.
Yeah, like, because personally that's happened with me as well. When I had my last interview for Koti, for the one that I got my job with, the hiring manager literally looked at me and said, you don't even have to tell me how passionate you are about the beauty industry, because I can tell by the way you're talking. So
Yeah,
like
like your
the
face
body
lights up.
language
Yeah.
and your face can tell.
And also, I feel like obviously you can talk about something very passionately and relaxed, but that also comes down to, I think another tip would be apply for things you're genuinely interested in, because it shows. Like, I think when the manager told you that, like, I can tell how excited you are or how much you love makeup,
Yeah.
just by the way you talk about it, because you genuinely are so interested in it. You wouldn't be the same talking about marketing at like any other in any
Like
other
a
industry.
car industry, like something like that.
Like, I think a very good example is one of our friends. She was applying for roles in data analytics, but this girl like loves fashion, like she loves clothes, she loves shopping, and she's just very passionate about it. And she applied for data analytics at a car company. She doesn't know much about cars or doesn't like cars that much, and that didn't work out. And then a few weeks later, an application for data at a fashion brand came up, and that did end up working out for her, and that's where she works now. The fashion brand would clearly tell her, like, they could see her passion for clothes and for styling.
Yeah.
And she fits in so well there now.
She or anyone would probably not, even if it's the same role, they'd probably not be as happy doing what they do in like
Exactly.
the car industry versus the fashion, because even when you're having like a bad day at work, an industry you're not passionate about but you're working there, because
Makes it 10 times worse.
Yeah. Because like especially like when I have bad days at work, I'm just like, okay, but at the end of the day, like I'm working someplace which gives me happy. It's just like looking at makeup makes me happy. So like
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
know what
Like
you
you could be so tired at the end of the day, but at least you're doing something you love or you're like which excites you.
Yeah.
And that's so
Yeah.
important, like not only for them to see how excited you are, but also in terms of how happy you'll be at the job. Like, yeah, okay, you can get a job at the end of the day, but you want to be at a place which you're happy, which you enjoy, and which aligns with your future goals.
Yeah.
Like, I think in the future you want to do something with makeup and with beauty. So you'd rather be at a place like this than doing marketing somewhere else.
Yeah. And like I know like some people also like they don't believe in like going for passion, but maybe they have like different things that they prioritize over
Yeah.
passion. So even if you're like not 100% passionate about what you're doing and you're still kind of like figuring out what you want to do,
Yeah.
at least in the interview, act. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be as
No, fair enough.
transparent
energy
as
matters.
possible. Like put your best act on, act passionate, because
Yeah.
they can tell.
They can
Body
tell.
language is important.
And also see like what you're getting out of it. If like not everyone, I guess, has to do something they're extremely passionate about, but someone can value, let's say, how much you're getting paid a lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
So be at a
that's
job
all.
where you're getting like paid well, or at least or you're learning a lot.
Yeah. Like it's always about that
Yeah,
kind of a balance.
that
And
balance.
if you find a balance, then
And
you're
if you're
probably
not-
the luckiest person in the world.
And if you're not getting either, then like what do you do? Why are you laughing so much? Why are you attacking people? I'm not attacking people, I'm just
What are
being
you doing?
honest.
Okay, great. Teacher energy. A lot of people ask me about my visa situation. We're on the tier 4 visa. We did our undergrad here, and after both our tier 4 visas, we could basically apply for a grad visa. So a lot of people ask me like, how are you working here? Did you get sponsored? At least for me, like I'm not sponsored. I'm on the grad visa, which you can apply for like after your student visa here in the UK. I don't know how it works in US and other places.
It gives you can stay in the UK for 2 years after graduation, after undergrad or masters, where you don't need to be sponsored by a company or a job to be here and work. You can work full time on that.
Yeah.
Or the other option is a tier 2. I'm not sure if it's tier 2.
We don't know the tiers.
The other option is the company sponsors you, and that's for 3 years or less, or for 3 years or more. And after I think 4 years of working on a sponsored visa, you get indefinite leave to remain. You can apply for residency.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So
that.
there's two routes basically, either sponsorship or the graduate visa, which is applicable for 2 years.
There's a way you can look at the companies, like if they have a sponsorship license. I know a lot of people who I've spoken to, they look at if the company has a sponsorship license because they're looking to get residency here.
Yeah. I
So
guess-
that's maybe something you can look
Yeah.
into as well if you want to stay here long term.
Because there's no point applying to companies and working there for 2 years on a grad visa
Yeah.
if they can't sponsor you down
Sponsor
the
you.
line, if that's something you're looking at.
Yeah. But yeah, we've spoken a lot. Basically try to give you as much information as we could through this one video, but comment down below if you have any other questions. Maybe we can
Because
do
we
like
have a lot more to say, but we're trying to keep the first one short.
short and crisp for you.
Yeah.
But if you have more questions, we can maybe make like a part 2 or something like that. Yeah, so stay tuned and we'll come back with more videos.
See you!